You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. These are your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Saturday, May the 16th, 2020. This was an American League East game. The Tampa Bay Rays routed the Baltimore Orioles. Final score 18-2. The Rays got 18 runs on just 17 hits. Blake Snell got the win, his fourth winning decision of the season. Wade LeBlanc 0-3 now. The Toronto Blue Jays beat the Chicago White Sox 5-3 was the final score of this game. The White Sox 10-game winning streak was stopped with this loss today. Hyun-Jin Ryu got the win, Dylan Cease got the loss, Ken Giles now has 8 saves on the season. AL Central Baseball here, the Minnesota Twins beat the Cleveland Indians, final score 10-5. The Indians got 13 hits compared to the Twins' 12. Fernando Romero got the win, Oliver Perez got the loss. The Detroit Tigers lost to the Seattle Mariners. This is a battle of two teams that are toward the bottom of their respective divisions, but the Mariners came out with the win. 6-5 final. The Mariners 6 runs on 9 hits. The Tigers 5 runs on 11 hits. The Tigers scored first, got 4 runs in the top of the second. The Mariners got 3 runs in the bottom of the third, tied the game at 4 in the bottom of the fourth. The Tigers got 1 more run in the fifth, but then in the eighth, the Mariners scored 2 runs, got the win. Brennan got the win. Farmer got the loss. Matt McGill now has 13 saves on the season. The Oakland Athletics beat the Los Angeles Angels in this AL West baseball game. Final score 4-3. There was some heavy offense in this game toward the beginning part. The Athletics scored 3 runs in the first 2 innings. The Angels tied the game in the bottom of the third. Then the Athletics scored what would become the winning run in the top of the 4th inning. It was scoreless from the 5th on. Jesus Luzardo got the win, Dylan Bundy got the loss, and Liam Hendricks now has 18 saves on the season. The Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Kansas City Royals in this interleague game. Final score 7-3. The Dodgers came out early with offense, scoring 5 runs in the top of the second. The Royals got all 3 of their runs in the bottom of the 6th. And then the Dodgers tacked on 2 more in the top of the 8th, but they didn't really need those. They were already winning, and they won. Julio Urias got the win. Jacob Junis got the loss. Jimmy Nelson now has a save on the season after this game. The Boston Red Sox beat the Texas Rangers. Final score 6-3. Ryan Weber got the win. Corey Kluber has been struggling since being a Ranger. He's now 1-4. And Brandon Workman has reached 14 saves on the season. The Yankees and Astros played each other, and it was a premier pitching matchup between Garrett Cole and Zach Greinke. And Cole got the winning decision in this game. He's now 3-2. Zach Greinke is 3-2 now as well, but he got the losing decision. Aroldis Chapman now has 9 saves. National League Baseball here. The Colorado Rockies lost to the Miami Marlins. Final score 4-3. The Marlins were losing going into the bottom of the 9th, but were able to score 2 runs to walk it off. Adam Conley got the win, and Wade Davis blew the save and got the losing decision. NL Central Baseball, the Cincinnati Reds beat the Milwaukee Brewers. Final score 7-3. There was some offense scattered around this game, but the Reds were able to get 7 runs on 11 hits. The Brewers 3 runs on 8 hits. The Brewers are continuing to lose and continuing to struggle in May. Pedro Strop got the win. J.P. Fireeisen got the loss. Amir Garrett earned himself a save in this one, his first of the season. The Phillies and Cardinals played each other. Phillies shut out the Cardinals. Final score 3-0. Zach Eflin got the win, Jack Flaherty got the loss, and both these pitchers have 5 winning decisions. Eflin just earned his 5th after this game. The Pirates and Mets played each other, and the Mets won by a final score of 4-2. The Pirates had a 2-1 lead going into the bottom of the 7th, but the Mets sprung for 3 runs, took the lead, and did not relinquish it after that point. Marcus Stroman still undefeated on the year. He's 4-0. Clay Holmes got his first losing decision on the mound of the season, and Edwin Diaz now has 12 saves. The Washington Nationals played the Arizona Diamondbacks. Final score of this game was 7-3, and the Nationals won. The Nats got 7 runs on 13 hits, committed 2 errors, and the Diamondbacks got 3 runs on 8 hits, and they committed 1 error. Madison Bumgarner got his 2nd losing decision of the season. He's now 5-2. The Cubs and Padres played each other, and the Padres gaining some momentum now. They've won 2 in a row after this win. Kyle Barraclough got the win, John Lester got the loss, and Kirby Yates earned his 14th save. The Atlanta Braves beat the San Francisco Giants, and the Giants' woes continue. Their losing streak continues to get bigger. You'll see how big it is when we get to the standings segment. Mike Soroka got the win, and Johnny Cueto got the loss. Let's take a look at standings now. Starting in the American League East, the New York Yankees continue to lead with a 27-19 record. They won today. The Orioles are 25-20. They lost today. They're 1.5 games back of the Yankees. The Rays won today. They're 25-23. They're 3 games back of the division. The Blue Jays are 21-25. They beat the White Sox today. They're 6 games back in 4th place, and the Red Sox are 21-26. They're keeping pace. They've won 2 in a row. They're 6.5 games back of the Yankees, and they're a half game back of not being in last place for the first time this season. In the American League Central, the Chicago White Sox lost today, though they continue to lead with a 32-14 record. The Twins gained a game on the White Sox today. 30-16 is their record. They're on a 4-game winning streak. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. The Cleveland Indians have lost 5 in a row. They're 25-23. They're 8 games back of the division. The Tigers are 15-31, 17 games back of first place. They've lost 4 in a row. They've lost 8 of their last 10, and they're in 4th place. And the Royals are 12-33, 19.5 games back. They've lost 3 in a row. They've lost 7 of their last 10, and they remain in last place. In the American League West, the Oakland Athletics have reached 30 games. They still lead the division. They've won 9 games in a row. The Astros are 3.5 games back after losing to the Yankees today. They're 26-20. The Angels, 19-25. They've lost 2 in a row. They've lost 7 of their last 10. They're 9.5 games back of the Athletics. The Rangers are 19-27, 10.5 games back. They're on a 2-game losing streak. And the Mariners have won 2 in a row. They're 19-29, 11.5 games back. In the National League East, the Washington Nationals are 28-17. They still lead this division. The Phillies are keeping pace as well, though their winning streak is much larger than the Nats is. They're 9-1 over their last 10 games. They've won 9 in a row. The Braves are 25-21. They've won 7 in a row, 8 of their last 10. They're 3.5 games back of the Nationals. The Miami Marlins won today. They're 24-22, 4.5 games back. And the Mets are 19-26. They beat the Pirates today. They're 9 games back of the division. In the National League Central, the St. Louis Cardinals are 23-23. So the first place team in this division has a .500 winning percentage. The Brewers trail by a half game. They're 23-24. They've lost 3 in a row, and they've lost 8 of their last 10 games. The Reds have caught some fire, though. The Reds are on a 3-game winning streak. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. They're 22-24, just a game back of the division lead. The Cubs are 22-25. They've lost 2 in a row. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They're 1.5 games back. They've dropped to 4th place. And the Pirates, the only team not keeping pace in this division. 16-28 is their record. They're 6 games back of the division. They lost today, and they've lost 8 of their last 10. In the National League West, the Los Angeles Dodgers continue to lead. They've won 2 in a row. They've won 7 of their last 10. They have a 29-15 record. The Padres are 25-21, back in 2nd place, 5 games back of the Dodgers. They've won 2 in a row, though they've lost 8 of their last 10. The Arizona Diamondbacks are 24-22. They're 6 games back on a 2-game losing streak. The Rockies are 19-26, 10.5 games back. They lost today, though they've won 6 of their last 10 games. And the San Francisco Giants are 17-29. They're 13 games back of the Dodgers, and they've lost 15 games in a row now. Let's take a look at league leaders now, starting with batting average leaders in the American League. Chris Davis leads with a .374 average. Michael Brantley 4 points behind him with a .370 average. And Miguel Cabrera, third best with a .367. In the National League, David Dahl still the leader. He has a .371 average. Ronald Acuna Jr. not quite close. He has a .345 average. And Corey Seager rounds out the top 3. He's 5 points below Acuna Jr. with a .340 batting average. Jose Abreu had a good performance against the Blue Jays today. He is the league leader in hits now with 69. Chris Davis one below him with 68, and Miguel Andujar has 66 hits now. That's good for third best. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has 63. That's the league lead. Ronald Acuna Jr. second best with 57, and Paul Goldschmidt rounds out the top 3. He has 56. At bat leaders in the American League, Miguel Andujar has taken the lead in this category. He's at 195 at-bats now on the season. In the National League, Jonathan Villar leads with 191 at-bats, and it's not even close. Doubles leaders in the American League, Miguel Andujar has 18. That's the league lead. Jose Iglesias, Anthony Rendon, and Marcus Semien all tied for second best with 17. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has 21. That's the league lead. Christian Yelich and Trey Turner tied for second best with 17. Triples leaders in the American League. Jose Altuve has 5. Whit Merrifield, Oscar Mercado, and Adalberto Mondesi still tied for second best with 3. In the National League, Jonathan Villar and Chris Bryant still at the top with 5 triples. Andrew McCutchen, Trey Turner, and Victor Robles tied for third best with 4. Home run leaders in the American League. Chris Davis at 18. He's still one of the league leaders, but he's been caught by Josh Donaldson, who's tied for the league best with 18. Matt Olson is third best in the league with 17. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has 17 home runs, trailed by 2 by Max Muncy, who has 15, and Paul Goldschmidt has 13. That rounds out the top 3. RBI leaders in the American League. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has 46. Austin Meadows is catching up with him. He has 45, good for second best. And Jose Abreu had an RBI in the game against the Blue Jays today. He's bumped up to 43, and that rounds out the top 3 in the AL. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt, the first of 40 RBIs. He's the league leader. Max Muncy 5 behind him with 35, and Cody Bellinger and Freddie Freeman tied for third best with 34. Runs scored leaders in the American League. Yohan Moncada has 39. Jose Abreu, his teammate, with 38. And Rafael Devers and Matt Olson tied for third best with 37. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has 41. That's the league lead. Trey Turner trails him with 37. Good for second best. And Corey Seager and Paul Goldschmidt and Christian Yelich tied for third best with 32. Stolen base leaders in the American League. D. Gordon, the first to double digits this season. Among American League players, he's at 10. Mike Trout and Adalberto Mondesi tied for second best with 9. In the National League, Starling Marte stolen another base. He's at 21 now. He still leads the NL. Ronald Acuna Jr. and Trey Turner tied for second best with 12. And then Tim LeCastro and Jonathan Villar in double digits tied for fourth best with 10. Walks leaders in the American League. Alex Bregman has 30. Shin-Soo Choo, Travis Shaw, Mike Trout, and Cavan Biggio all tied for second best with 28. In the National League, Rhys Hoskins has 34. Tony Walters and Brandon Belt are at 30. They're tied for second best. On-base percentage leaders in the American League. Michael Brantley has a .445 on-base percentage. That's good for the league best. Mike Trout, .442, just 3 points behind Brantley. And Alex Bregman is in the top 3. Chris Davis close as well. They both have some variation of a .436 on-base percentage. Bregman third best. Chris Davis fourth best. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has a .438 on-base percentage. Dansby Swanson, his teammate, second best with a .426. And Rhys Hoskins, third best with a .418. Slugging percentage leaders in the American League. Chris Davis, .742 slugging percentage. Mike Trout now under .700. He's at a .697, good for second best. Josh Donaldson rounds out the top 3 with a .686. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has a .752 slugging percentage. That leads all National League hitters. Christian Yelich, .671, good for second best. And Corey Seager, third best with a .660. On-base percentage plus slugging percentage leaders in the American League. Chris Davis is a .1.177. Mike Trout second best with a .1.139. Michael Brantley third best with a .1.081. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. 1.190. That leads. Christian Yelich 1.078. Second best. Corey Seager 1.055. Third best. Moving on to pitching statistics, starting with win leaders in the American League. Asher Wojciechowski, Gio Gonzalez, and Lucas Giolito tied for the league best. They are the ones with 6 wins. In the National League, Walker Buehler, the only NL pitcher with 6 wins, and there's a long list of those tied for second best who have 5 wins. Losses leaders in the American League, it's down to 3 who are undefeated. Asher Wojciechowski, Reynaldo Lopez, and Kenta Maeda. In the National League, nobody is undefeated anymore, and there's a 6-way tie for the league best. All those pitchers you see there have 1 until you reach 7th best. Those guys all have 2. Saves leaders in the American League. Brad Hand has been caught by Liam Hendricks. These two tied for the American League best, 18 saves. Michael Givens and Roberto Ozuna tied for third best with 16. In the National League, Giovanni Gallegos is at 17. That leads the NL. Sean Doolittle, second best with 16. Kenley Jansen is third best with 15. Earned run average leaders in the American League. Zach Plesac still at a 1.82, and he's the only American League pitcher with an ERA under 2. In the National League, Walker Buehler, the only pitcher with an ERA under 2. He has a 1.84. Home runs allowed among American League pitchers. Gio Gonzalez, the only AL pitcher that has allowed 2 home runs, and that's the league lead. Garrett Richards has allowed just 2 home runs. That's the league lead in the NL. Shutouts among American League pitchers. Garrett Cole, Masahiro Tanaka is still the only ones with 2 in the AL. In the National League, Zach Wheeler and Walker Buehler are the only 2 pitchers with 2 shutouts in the NL. Strikeout leaders in the American League. After Garrett Cole's performance against the Astros today, he has reached 80 strikeouts on the season. Carlos Carrasco trails him by 6. He has 74. Lucas Giolito rounds out the top 3. He has 70. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw has 77 strikeouts. That leads. Chris Archer 6 behind him with 71. Steven Strasburg in the top 3 with 69 strikeouts. Complete games thrown among American League pitchers. Garrett Cole and Masahiro Tanaka still the only 2 at the top. They've each thrown 2 complete games this year. Zach Wheeler still the leader in the NL with 3 complete games thrown. Walker Buehler has 2. That's good for second best. Innings pitched leaders in the American League. Garrett Cole has the lead now. He has 67 1/3 innings tallied. Hyunjin Ryu, 66 2/3 innings pitched. And Shane Bieber, third best with 66 1/3 innings pitched. In the National League, Johnny Cueto has the lead with 64. Clayton Kershaw, second best with 62 2/3 innings pitched. And Mike Soroka, 61 2/3 innings, rounds out the top 3. Walks allowed leaders in the American League. Carlos Carrasco, the only one still in single digits. He's at 8. And in the National League, Alex Wood, the only one in single digits. He's at 9 walks allowed. Whip leaders in the American League. Zach Plesac still at a .96. That's still the best, and that's still the only AL whip under 1. In the National League, Anthony DeSclafani has a .95. That's the only NL whip under 1. Pitching war among American League pitchers. Carlos Carrasco, 1.7. That leads. Shane Bieber, 1.6. Eduardo Rodriguez is at a 1.5, as is Garrett Cole, who's 4th best. In the National League, Chris Archer has a 1.9. Jacob deGrom's at a 1.7. And Yu Darvish is at a 1.5. That's your top 3. Batting war leaders in the American League. Mike Trout has the lead with a 3.3 WAR. Alex Bregman's at a 3 even. Marcus Semien and Chris Davis at a 2.9, 3rd and 4th best in the league. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. is still the only player with such a high WAR. He's getting close to 4 now. He's at a 3.8. Christian Yelich, the next best, with a 2.9. And Jonathan Villar rounds out the top 3 with a 2.8. These have been your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Saturday, May the 16th, 2020. I'm Nicholas Callis. You've been watching Major League Baseball's virtual network.